Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies, how the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Atlas Clear's goal is to build a cutting-edge, technology-enabled financial services firm that would create a more efficient platform for trading, clearing, settlement, and banking of evolving and innovative financial products with a focus on small to middle market financial services firms. With me is John Shibley, the Director and Executive Chairman, and Craig Ridenhour, the President. So great to have you both here. So, John, do you want to start and just explain the company? Give me an overall view.
Sure, I'm happy to, Jane. And thank you for having us on. We are building a cutting-edge prime brokerage, prime banking, clearing and settlement platform. And what we're structuring is a unique regulatory combination of a correspondent clearing firm called Wilson Davis & Company and a Federal Reserve member bank. So the marriage of those two, correct from the ground up, allows us to apply new technologies and get into new products. And so we've got a model that has been around for a long time, but our competitors are big, huge bureaucratic firms, and we're simply more nimble. So we're very excited about where we are and what we're building.
And Craig, talk about the technology part of it and the innovative products part of it. How do you visualize the business?
Absolutely. Well, the target markets that we're going after right now are the small financial institution space. So it can be broker dealers, it could be family offices, it can be funds. Generally institutions that have been orphaned by the larger clearing firms. And so what we've brought in is some proprietary world-class technology that we want to layer into for risk management, product development, speed, execution, services. But we also want to provide through our subsidiary, Wilson Davis, the clearing platform to go to these small institutions to provide solutions for them that, quite frankly, they can't get to right now. They have to piggyback to get just regular assets, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds cleared. So we have a licensing set with Wilson Davis. It's utterly unique. It's some same licensing set of the Pershings of the world, but we're going to target that small institution space, then really provide a technology solution for them that they don't have access. They can better manage their clients' portfolios, also have better margins, and deliver better product. That will also lead us into development of new products that we'll be able to distribute out to them so they can make a decision. Is this something, especially with the new administration coming in, is this something that fits their clients' portfolios? So we believe we've got a really unique opportunity in front of us.
Well, I was going to ask about how you are different than others in this space. And you want to expand on that a little bit?
It really is how we're structured and how we're able to come from the ground up correctly. We've been running market structure and fintech firms for over 30 years. And we've learned how to marry highly regulated brokerage firms and highly regulated banks correctly through a technology backbone that makes us more efficient. So we're particularly excited about this year because with the new administration coming in, we think finally the United States markets will get clarity on crypto. And crypto will be a big portion of what we attack in 2025. So we're different because we're able to be more nimble in a heavily regulated space.
Yeah. Some clarity, I think, is what everybody has kind of been wanting.
Absolutely needed clarity. We haven't had that. It's hindered us, and not just us, but everyone. But we're confident in the new administration, certainly exciting. And from the regulatory perspective, we think there has to be regulation, but it has to be rational. And you have to be able to move businesses forward. And without that lack of clarity and with irrational regulation in some situations, it's really hindered businesses overall, and in particular our sector. Because when you're a heavily regulated clearing institution and the licensing set we have, we need clear understanding, especially when you're talking about new products, about the impact of the new products. Are we going to be, so we've always stated that we will deal in digital assets because we do believe that's the wave of the future, but we were never going to put ourselves before the regulatory guidance. Right. We needed that guidance first and foremost. And so we've got that. And then when we look at the banking side of things, we've got a bank, commercial bank out of Wyoming that we've got under contract to acquire. It's over 100-year-old charter, Fed member bank, that with this new infusion of capital that John just referenced, we'll be able to begin in earnest that Fed approval process here, hopefully in the next 45 to 60 days. And that's a big component of what we're doing longer term as well. And we think from the banking side of things, again, we think the regulation could be favorable. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a fairly quick process, a successful process.
If I could add a little more color on that, right? I mean, I've always been frustrated with the stall for crypto. I actually prefer the term distributed ledger technology because that really is what's important to retail in the street, whether or not they all know it. DLT will allow us to clear and settle products simultaneously. It will allow the regulators to have perfect transparency into the important things they care about. Know your customer, AML, all of that is in the chain itself. And so it becomes a much more perfect market. And we've seen over the years, as we've moved from fractions to decimals to ECNs, how a more perfect market is better for everyone. And so when crypto comes in a regulated way, it's going to be better for everyone. It's going to be really good for our company because we're going to be right in the middle of it.
And you'll have, it sounds like blockchain technology behind what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, how can people follow you?
Well, we've got a couple of different ways. The best way is to follow our stock, symbol Alpha Tom Charlie Hotel, ATCH, traded NYSE Amex. We also have LinkedIn pages. You can go to our website, atlasclear.com. We are working with a couple of companies to get more press out, to get people to look at our stock and go, hey, this company today has a market cap of like $2.5 million. It's got 4 times that much cash in the brokerage firm that it's running that's profitable. It's got a $45 million investment deal. It's in a space it's hard to get into. It's run by people that have been in the industry for 30 years who've been there and done that. So we are interested in getting people to follow us because we think we have a great story to tell.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling your story, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is your garden struggling to stay hydrated? Meet Waterless Garden, the organic solution that saves water and boosts your garden's health. Packed with humus materials and trillions of beneficial microbes, Waterless Garden improves soil structure and increases water retention. Use less water, get better results, and watch your garden thrive. Waterless Garden. Less water, more life.
There are over 83 million dogs and 50 million cats in the U.S. Up to 80% of senior cats and dogs can suffer from osteoarthritis. Spring is helping treat them and is now available in all 50 states and over 800 veterinarian clinics. Learn more at newtothestreet.com. Pet Vivo, a publicly traded company, ticker symbol PETV.
Steve Dresner is the founder of Dealflow Events and is responsible for corporate strategy, and is joining us today to talk about this microcap conference that will be coming up. And Steve, I guess tell us a little bit, let's set the stage here about yourself and your role at Dealflow.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jane. So yes, I'm Steven Dresner. I'm the founder of Dealflow Events. We are the successor company to Dealflow Media, which began its existence as a publishing business focused on covering different investment strategies. People know us as also running the private raise database to track certain types of investments, including pipes, SPACs, and things like that. But currently, yes, we are focused on events. And my role within the event business is really to determine what markets we want to cover, what sort of forums we want to create to help investors find investment opportunities. So mostly what I do as sort of a support person within the company is help with the programming, identify different, groups that we should be marketing our events to, and again, choosing sort of topics focused mostly on topic development. So in a typical year, we're running about 9 conferences. And I believe in 2025, I think we'll also run between 8 and 9 conferences.
Okay. All interesting topics. And I mean, you've been doing this, you mentioned 20 years. What would you say is the long-term value that is brought to the investors as well as the companies?
So, it's interesting. When we had COVID, anybody in the event business had this sort of existential crisis. Like, is this going to work? Will people want to ever be in a room together? And we all sort of wondered, like, is this the end of events? But what we saw really quickly was that, people are doing business with people. And so whether it's a good market and people want to get together and celebrate, or it's a down market and they're going to commiserate, they still want to get together. You know, you're dealing with phone-based or text-based, email-based communications all year, but we feel very strongly that, you know, events are an important part of business, because so long as we are dealing with people and not AI robots and chatbots, you know, there is still a need to get together and, you know, and learn more and bind those relationships. And, you know, as I mentioned, you know, we love to process the feedback that we get from our clients. And because we've been doing this so long, you know, the feedback, you start to see very, you know, particular trends. And the one that has just come through so clearly, which is why we are focused now on the Microcap Conference and also other networking style events, is because that appears to be, you know, the place where there's a super amount of value. I mean, if you step back and sort of think about the content side of our business, if someone wanted to learn about the latest trends in SPACs, I mean, they could read some stuff online, they could buy an audio kit from the conference, but what you don't get unless you attend is the networking or the relationships. And DealFlow as a company, you know, you could guess it from the name, is very, very focused on bringing like actionable ideas to every event. So the idea is, you know, we want both sides of the equation. It's not, you know, our events are not just a place where there's talk. Our events are, you know, a place where business is done. And although some of our markets are a little, you know, nichier, what we hear is that consistent feedback that people, you know, get that value in building those relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's why we think the event business is just incredible, because, you know, if a pandemic couldn't derail us, you know, I guess something could, but let's not go there right now. We're feeling good about things. So
no, I'm so glad things turned out as they did, because I remember those days during the pandemic. Will we ever be in an office again and have a meeting again? And you know, my instinct was we will. People like to deal with people one-on-one. Like Zoom is great for certain things, but it will never totally replace. So I'm so glad that it turned out as they did. And I think these conferences just sound really interesting. Steve, thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Okay.
Is your garden struggling to stay hydrated? Meet Waterless Garden, the organic solution that saves water and boosts your garden's health. Packed with humus materials and trillions of beneficial microbes, Waterless Garden improves soil structure and increases water retention. Use less water, get better results, and watch your garden thrive. Waterless Garden. Less water, more life.
There are over 83 million dogs and 50 million cats in the U.S. Up to 80% of senior cats and dogs can suffer from osteoarthritis. Spring is helping treat them and is now available in all 50 states and over 800 veterinarian clinics. Learn more at newtothestreet.com. Pet Vivo, a publicly traded company, ticker symbol PETV.
As we see the fires burning in the Los Angeles area, the topic of fire prevention is at the forefront of many people's minds, especially for us here in San Diego. Joining us to talk about the important topic are retired fire chief Jeff Bowman and Steve Comboy, chief technologist of Mighty Fire Breaker, MFB, we're calling it. Just such an incredible product. I want to talk quickly, Jeff, because how you introduced the connection here between the two of you was so poignant. Can you talk about this connection? You, a retired fire chief of many Southern California areas, and this invention that we'll get to here in a moment.
So Steve was interviewed by the Union Tribune newspaper, and the article was so outlandish in my mind about what this product would do.
This was 7 years ago.
7 years ago. And I contacted Steve and said, I have 35 years experience in the fire service in multiple agencies, as you mentioned. I've seen everything there is to see in wildfire retardants. And have to beg to differ with you. Your product will not do what you claim that it will do. And that was 7 years ago, and I'm still working with him and still looking for the weakness in this product, and I have yet to find it. It's the most amazing thing I've seen.
So, Steve, this brings us to you and this MFB Mighty Firebreaker. You are the founder and technologist behind this product. That you even have the retired chief saying it's perfect. I can't see fault with it yet. Tell us what this is, and I'm just impressed that as a retardant, it's also environmentally safe. What is this product, and how does it work?
You know, we just won the EPA Partner of the Year for the second time a few weeks ago. Pretty amazing to be surrounded by guys like him. Most fire officials ignore us. It is the safest chemistry in the world when it comes to early fire elimination. It is food grade, and it's really amazing that in nature we can find chemicals in science that can eliminate fire's ability to advance. We can block ember ignition. If we spray this product on any combustible before the fire arrives, the firefighters will have a much better chance of saving the communities. And yes, it's food grade, but it's a chemical reaction in the oxygen leg where the free radicals are just trying to advance and explode to consume more to survive. It interrupts it. Bone dry. So when we spray the product and it's bone dry, it'll be there until it's rained away.
Wow.
So it's a long-term
And in
defense.
Southern California, where we don't get much rain anyway, this is a product that when sprayed on the home could give you months of protection.
Yeah, and what's amazing is Chief basically, you know, he started out as a skeptic, and I said, let's have coffee, and now he's one of my best friends. But he's introduced me to so many great fire marshals because they'll listen to him, not me with an accent, the carpenter from Brooklyn.
Well, and let's talk about that, because it's you want to scream it from the mountaintops. I have a product that works, that can save homes, save lives. Why aren't we using this?
Many fire officials, like me, believe that we've seen it all. We know that these products have a marginal improvement in fire prevention. We believe that they do. I believe the same thing when I heard about this one. What I'm trying to do is expose the product to my former colleagues. And even then, with my reputation and my friendships that I've established over many years, they're reluctant to deal with this.
And I mean, this is a situation where even if you're unable to get fire insurance, which so many are dealing with, this can be your saving grace at some point. I mean, you talked about during the break, you've actually been up in LA right now spraying some of these big Bel Air mansions because they're willing to take the chance that it could save their homes.
I have crews right now at Yellowstone Club. We're in Tahoe, but wherever we go, what's amazing to me, it's almost like I could cry over it because my father died from toxic chemicals and he was told it was safe. The fire retardants that we use today, how many firefighters have come down with cancer from AFFF foam? Now the new news is what we're dropping out of planes has toxic metals in it. And I saw a video of the plane coming into LA and the firefighters got covered with the red stuff that we heard last week had toxic metals. So for me, it's really important that if we're going to use chemistry to make a difference in insurance and risk reduction, we have to care about the children, the grandmother, the pets, and the environment. But first, those other things like our kids and our family have to matter. And people that say it's safe and it's environmentally friendly, but they can't prove it, I say, why aren't you EPA approved? Why aren't you UL Green Guard Gold approved? And I'll tell you why, because they can't get it. So what we did is spent a lot of years in proving every claim we make. Even when it comes to fire, I go to international laboratories to prove my claims in fires, in the ability to stop fires, ability to advance. I'm hoping one day the new administration would just sit with me for 15 minutes so I can help them, show them how we can defend housing starts. Because in this California insurance crisis that now went everywhere, we're going to hurt our economy if we don't solve the problem with the insurance and the underwriters. I tell the underwriters in London, I heard you cry, and I'm here to solve it. But the only way we're going to do it is with wildfire defense systems on every home with remote activation. All the AI is great for early detection for the fire department. Why can't we use the AI to activate the systems in communities? So it's guys
Steve?
like this guy that are helping me finally be heard, because you know, the big Cal fires of the world, we met with the guy who was assigned by the administration. He was in the meeting, and he said, we fight fire the old-fashioned way. Not good enough anymore.
No. Steve, I hope you get that 15 minutes, and I hope this gets a lot of attention to hopefully, you know, raise the awareness of your product for at least hoping to save us from another scene like this and what we're seeing in LA. So thank you both so much
Thanks
for being
for having
here,
us.
and hopefully the word gets out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is your garden struggling to stay hydrated? Meet Waterless Garden, the organic solution that saves water and boosts your garden's health. Packed with humus materials and trillions of beneficial microbes, Waterless Garden improves soil structure and increases water retention. Use less water, get better results, and watch your garden thrive. Waterless Garden. Less water, more life.
There are over 83 million dogs and 50 million cats in the U.S. Up to 80% of senior cats and dogs can suffer from osteoarthritis. Spring is helping treat them and is now available in all 50 states and over 800 veterinarian clinics. Learn more at newtothestreet.com. Pet Vivo, a publicly traded company, ticker symbol PETV.
In America, a family prepares to leave the land their ancestors farmed for generations. Once rich and productive soil becomes increasingly unviable, crops wither, and survival becomes uncertain. Their story reflects a global crisis. Intensive agriculture is degrading the very land that sustains life. For decades, agriculture fed billions, but at a cost. Exhausted soil, vanishing biodiversity, and extreme weather events like floods and droughts. These escalating challenges aren't confined to rural villages. They threaten food production and stability worldwide. Experts are urging action.
Hi, I'm Tony Robbins. Listen, I want to talk to you about a subject most people don't think much about. Soil. Soil? Yes. The soil is being degraded at a tempo that most people are unaware of worldwide. And that means agriculture is down almost 52% according to the UN. There's a degradation in the soil. And the soil is literally our bodies. We're made from the soil. Everything that we grow, everything that we eat comes from it. And yet we've been very unconscious about it.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects. But we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways.
Hello, this is Jane Goodall. Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth. And some 87% of all life on the planet depends on it.
We had rich soil. In that, whatever is deficient, we put a little bit of nitrogen or phosphate or something, suddenly the crops burst out.
Yes.
Then we forgot that we have to put organic content. We just started putting these salts forever, and in 25 to 30 years' time, the soil becomes fallow. We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil.
I think the 3% minimum is something I've been pushing for the last 40 years. I've been causing trouble for a while. 3% is kind of the borderline where you've got enough diversity in the kinds of foods that are present so that all of the necessary sets of microorganisms will be able to perform their jobs at the right time and in the right place.
Water retention and soil vitality. Trillions of living microbes are at the heart of this blend, enhancing nutrient availability and driving water efficiency. Our efficient, eco-friendly process accelerates what nature takes years to achieve. With precision and care, we create an ideal environment for microbes to thrive, crafting a nutrient-rich soil in just months. The result is extraordinary. A dark, nutrient-loaded humus soil that holds water efficiently, reducing the need for frequent watering. This soil keeps plants hydrated, even in dry conditions. The living microbes in Waterless Garden also help capture carbon, breaking down organic matter to release essential nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. This process supports natural nutrient cycling, reducing reliance on synthetic fertilizers. Waterless Garden enhances soil structure, inviting earthworms, fungi, and beneficial bacteria. Together, these organisms reduce compaction and promote deep root growth. With Waterless Garden, you're choosing a soil that's both eco-friendly and efficient. It's designed for gardeners who want vibrant, low-maintenance landscapes while reducing their environmental impact. By using Waterless Garden, you're part of a movement towards sustainable gardening. This soil solution supports resilient ecosystems, 1 yard at a time. Less water, more life. Choose Waterless Garden to nurture your plants and restore the planet. Join us on this journey towards sustainable gardening.